Hi, Tommy. Thank you for interviewing me so I can talk about ono kaswe. Ono kaswe is coconut chicken noodle soup. It has a curry flavor to it, and it is known as Burma's national dish. So I am from Burma. I was born in Burma, which is now known as Myanmar. And we came to the United States when I was a little girl. I became a citizen when I was 8 years old. And when we first came to Burma, my parents and my two brothers and myself were one of the first of the folks to escape Burma at a time of great danger and violence and violations of human and civil rights. And making ono katsuya when we were here was a way to remind us of home. So the definition of ono is literally coconut milk is ono, on is coconut, no is milk. So cow, for example, is a noa. So noa no is cow milk, or the milk that we drink every day. And kautsue is the word for noodles. And it literally means kaut is to fold, sue is to pull. And it's the description of the action when you make noodles. You fold the dough, you stretch the dough, you fold the dough and stretch the dough. And that's how you get the long noodles in kautsue or ono kautsue. So in the Burmese community, this dish is used to celebrate almost everything. Anytime you have a party, a gathering, a family celebration, a wedding, any auspicious occasion, ono kautsue will be served. And the food is not only meant for celebration, but the way that it serves literally brings people together in community. When I was little, my aunties and my mom would gather and they would first boil huge stock pots with whole chickens. And these stock pots with the chickens and all the chicken bones in there was to make the broth. And someone would be chopping the onions, the ginger, and the garlic together, and someone would be pounding the spices. And it really was a group and community effort to put together a huge stock pot of the noodle soup. And then also on the side, wheat noodles, as well as many condiments such as fish sauce and lemon and lime wedges and cilantro, fresh cucumber, fresh onion slices, hard-boiled eggs, crunchy fried onions, and more. And the way people eat this dish is they come together one by one, filling up their bowls first with noodles and then their favorite toppings and then the coconut curry soup. And usually we sit at long tables or round tables that are low to the floor, and we sit on the floor. And there's a lot of conversation. And that conversation comes after the work and the effort and the gratitude for many people coming together to make this food. I think part of the reason that ono katsuya is the national dish from a history standpoint is that Burma was on the trade routes many years ago when spices were being imported and exported from the East, from India, China, Thailand. And many of the spices that were passing through Burma were the spices that are the base of ono katsuya, mainly turmeric and paprika, and sometimes chili or red pepper if that's what you prefer. So from a historical standpoint, the dish was born out of what was available in the region. From a cultural standpoint, I think that the dish represents joy, togetherness, community, and family, because it takes effort to make. My job when I was a little girl was to sit on the floor with a giant stone bowl and a stone pounder, so a mortar and pestle. And I would sit on the ground with my legs flayed out to the sides and the bowl in between my legs, and I would pound the spices. So salt, pepper, turmeric, paprika all went together, and I would pound until they were powdery. And then my mom would take the spices and then give me the chopped ginger, onions, and garlic, and I would pound those until they were almost like a paste. And today I use a hand blender or a food processor, but back in the day, the labor that went into this was quite significant. And for big and large occasions, many women would come together to assist in making the different pieces and parts of ono katsuya. Aside from being the national dish at every joyous celebration, ono katsuya is available everywhere. You can find it in any restaurant, and street vendors lining the streets will be selling bowls of ono katsuya at any time of day or night. People eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, in the middle of the night. So I think that this dish represents so much more by grounding folks who have been making it for generations and through times of great struggle and change in Burma. So when my parents were born in Burma in 1936 and 1938, Burma was a British colony. And when they started school, they went to missionary schools. They were given Anglo-Saxon names, Rose and Anthony, which my father never kept his name. My mom still goes by Rose. And they were taught English and had much of their traditional culture, and including language, stripped away from their lives daily. And then there was the Japanese occupation during World War II. And that was also a time where there was no school. There was a lot of violence. War is an unsettling time. And after World War II and liberation from Japanese occupation, Burma began what would become a 70-plus year world war, one of the world's longest running civil war, one of the world's longest running civil wars that's still going on today and is fraught with human rights violations, civil rights violations, genocide. And we never thought when we left Burma so many decades ago that this would still be going on. So I think one of the things that Ono Kauswe does is it grounds Burmese people and other people in the long history of Burma that began and is still present through all of these many changes, through decades of violence, losing sovereignty, becoming a British colony, becoming a Japanese occupied territory, and then being fraught with civil war. All those things may remain true, but food and the togetherness that happens when people come together for that food transcend these things and tie people together, and it brings a joy that feeds your head, your heart, your soul, as well as your stomach. And so I make this dish. I make it with my family, and my kids have grown up eating Ono Kauswe, and every time I make it, I bring with my actions and with the food and the cooking and the eating of the food, those thoughts of joy and happiness and togetherness for a country and a history that we don't want to lose.